Dear students, welcome to the another video of Edwins. In previous video, we have discussed about the animal hormone part 1 where we have discussed the two endocrine glands, that is hypothalamus and pituitary. So this is called the supreme commander or the supreme master gland, and pituitary gland is known as the master gland. Why? Because hypothalamus control all the secretion of the other endocrine glands and the pituitary glands control the rest of the endocrine glands secretion except hypothalamus. So that's why this is called the master gland. It is located base of the brain, in sella turcica of sphenoid bone. Okay, so this can be made a SAQ, that what is the location of the pituitary gland, the sella turcica of the sphenoid bone. Today we will discuss about the rest of the four glands, that is thyroid gland, adrenal gland and gonads. So first one is the thyroid gland. Thyroid gland. What is the location of thyroid gland? It is located both side of the esophagus in the neck region. Like if this is esophagus, it is located like these two lobes. This is esophagus and these two are lobes of thyroid gland. Okay, this is the location. Now the hormone secreted from the thyroid gland is known as thyroxine. Okay, which hormone? The thyroxine. So this hormone released by the stimulation of the pituitary gland. Why pituitary is the master gland? Because the releasing of thyroxine is controlled by the pituitary gland by which hormone? That is thyroid stimulating hormone, TSH, which stimulate the thyroid gland and then release the thyroxine. So what is the function of thyroxine? Thyroxine maintain the metabolism. Okay, number one. Number two, control the BMR, basal metabolic rate. So these are the two main functions of thyroxine. Next one is the pancreas. We know that pancreas is the mixed gland. Why? Because it secretes both endocrine and exocrine secretion. How? Pancreas is the part of our digestive system. The pancreas. Why this is mixed gland? Because it secretes exocrine as well as endocrine secretion. Exocrine, we know that the digestive juice, okay, or pancreatic juice. They secrete digestive or pancreatic juice. That's why this is exocrine gland. In endocrine, it is secrete two hormone. from the two cells. The portion of the endocrine part of the pancreas is known as islets of Langerhans, where present two types of cells. Number one is alpha cell and number two is beta cell. Okay, from the alpha cell it secretes the hormone known as glucagon, and from the beta cell the hormone secrete known as insulin. Okay, so one question may made from here, that is, why pancreas is known as mixed gland? The answer is because it secretes both endocrine and exocrine secretion. What is exocrine? That is pancreatic juice, and endocrine, two types of hormone, one is glucagon and another is insulin. So that's why this is called mixed gland. Mixed gland. Now, what is the location of pancreas? Of course, behind the stomach, or just below the liver. So this is the location of the pancreas. Now, what is the function of these two hormones? These two hormones, that is insulin and glucagon, also, that is pancreas, secrete two types of hormones. One is insulin, another is glucagon. These are actually responsible to maintain the blood glucose level. How? The insulin secrete when blood glucose level is high. After our meal, that blood glucose level automatically increases. So when the blood glucose level increases, insulin secreted and convert this glucose into glycogen. Convert this glucose into glycogen and stored in liver and muscle cells. Okay, so this is the function of insulin, and this process is known as glycogenesis. Okay, the conversion of glucose into glycogen process is known as glycogenesis. Now, the next one, that is glycogen, actually function the reverse of the insulin. When the blood glucose level is dropped, when blood glucose level is dropped, like when the starvation or in hunger condition, it will convert the stored glycogen into glucose. Okay, the glycogen convert the the glucagon convert the stored glycogen into glucose, and this process is known as glycogenolysis. So the conversion of glucose into glycogen is known as glucogenesis, and the stored glycogen convert into glucose is known as glycogenolysis. Okay, so this is the function of insulin and glucagon. Also, this glucagon have additional function, that is it will convert the non-carbohydrate source like fat, protein, also other carbohydrates or complex carbohydrates. It produce glucose from the non-carbohydrates. From the non-carbohydrates, glucagon produce glucose. And this process is known as neoglucogenesis. So here we observe that three processes. Number one is glycogenesis, number two is glycogenolysis, and number three is neoglucogenesis. Glycogenesis is the process of conversion of glucose, blood glucose, to the glycogen in the form of glycogen that is stored in the liver or muscle cells. Number two is glycogenolysis, where the stored glycogen convert into glucose, and the third one, that is from the non-carbohydrate sources, produce glucose with the help of glucagon, that is known as neoglucogenesis. So these are the functions of insulin and glucagon. The next gland is the adrenal gland. Adrenal gland is located just upon the kidney. Next one is the adrenal gland. Location: upon the kidney. If this is a kidney like this is actually a triangular in shape like this. This is the kidney and this is adrenal gland. Okay. Now the hormone secreted from the adrenal gland. In adrenal gland there have two parts. If this is the cross section of adrenal gland like this, the outer part, this part is known as cortex, and the inner part is called medulla. Okay, so hormone releases both parts. Number one, that is medulla, number two is cortex. So from the medulla there release two hormones. One is adrenaline, another one is noradrenaline. These are also known as epinephrine and norepinephrine. Norepinephrine. These are released from the medulla. Now the second part, that is cortex, release the corticoids. The hormones released from the cortex is known as corticoids. Example like glucocorticoid, mineralocorticoid, and sex steroids. Okay, these are the examples of corticoids. So what are the function of these hormones? First, the adrenaline and noradrenaline, or epinephrine and norepinephrine, are both function or known as emergency hormone. What is emergency hormone? They are releases in the emergency condition of our body, like in fear, in such emotions they are released and increase the heartbeat, blood circulation, or dilation of blood vessels. Okay, so these are the functions of epinephrine and norepinephrine. Now the function of corticoids. The example first one, that is glucocorticoids, actually help in metabolism of glucose. Okay, and also help in neoglucogenesis. Okay, from the stored glycogen convert into glucose. This process is known as from the non carbohydrate sources to produce glucose is known as neoglucogenesis. The mineralocorticoids help in mineral metabolism. And the sex steroids actually help to develop the sexual characteristics. Okay, so these are the functions of the adrenal gland, and the secretion of the adrenal gland is controlled by the hormone, that is the ACTH, adrenocorticotropic hormone, which is released from the pituitary gland. Now the next one, that is the gonads. The gonads are actually gender specific. How? Because in case of male and female are defined through their gonads. In case of male they have testes, and in case of female they have ovary. Number 6, that is gonads. The gonads, gender specific of course. In case of male, that is testis, this is male, and in case of female this is ovary. Okay, so the hormone releases from the testis is known as testosterone. Okay, from where? From the interstitial cells of Leydig. In previous class we have already discussed that in GTH there have a kind of hormone that is known as ICSH, interstitial cell stimulating hormone. These hormone actually stimulate the testes or interstitial cells to release the testosterone. So what is the function of testosterone? First, functions. First, help in producing sperm. Number one. Number two, regulate metabolism or basal metabolic rate, that is BMR. Number three, help in development of sex organ, that is in case of male, that is penis. Number four, help in development of secondary sexual characters. What are they? That is like development of mustache, beard, and groins region, development of hair in groins region. These are the functions of the testosterone. So next one is the ovary. So it is located, ovary is located just near the fallopian tube. If this is a rough diagram of female female reproductive system, this is called fallopian tube, this is fallopian tube, and this is ovary. Okay, it is located near the fallopian tube and attached with the uterus. So from the ovary it releases Graafian follicle. From the ovary it releases Graafian follicle. What is Graafian follicle? Graafian follicle is unmatured cell which contain egg or ovum. This is the ovum and this is Graafian follicle. So this Graafian follicle releases the hormone which is known as estrogen. Okay, so these estrogen are the primary sex hormone in case of female, which help, that is functions. Number one, development of ovum. Number two, development of female sex organs like development of vagina, development of uterus and uterine lining. Number three, development of secondary sexual characters. Okay, what are they? Like deposition of fat, below the skin, and growing region, development of hair in growing region. These are the functions of estrogen. Now next one is the progesterone, which is released from the corpus luteum. From corpus luteum. What is corpus luteum? In previous class, I have already discussed that after the egg is released from the Graafian follicle, if this is egg, the rest part of the Graafian follicle is known as corpus luteum. Okay, after ovulation, the rest part of the Graafian follicle is known as corpus luteum, and this corpus luteum release the hormone which is known as progesterone. This progesterone hormone actually responsible for the function of progesterone is mainly build uterine lining to implant the zygote. Zygote, we know, after fertilization of female gamete by the male gamete, the cell mass is produced which is known as zygote. So this progesterone help to build the uterine lining where the zygote get implant, and also it help in secretion of mucus from the vagina. Okay, so these are the main functions of estrogen and progesterone. So these are two hormones that is released from the female body, and this is the hormone that is testosterone which is released from the male body. Now we will discuss about some disorders, that is hyper or less secretion of hormones. Now some common diseases. Due to over or less secretion of hormones. Number one is dwarfism. This happens due to the less secretion of GH or STH, somatotropic hormone or growth hormone. What happens in dwarfism? This happens that the short height. Okay. Number two is the simple goiter. What is simple goiter? This is the swallowing of neck. Actually the thyroid gland. This happens due to the less secretion of thyroxine. Okay, so the less secretion of thyroxine happens due to the deficiency of iodine. C of iodine. This is the precursor for production of thyroxine. So what is the source of iodine? The table salt or white salt. Okay, so in deficiency of iodine, there the secretion of the product or the production of thyroxine get decreases and happens the simple goiter. Number 3, that is exophthalmic goiter. What happen in exophthalmic goiter? This is also happen the swallowing of neck, but the reason is actually the hypersecretion of thyroxine or thyroid gland. Thyroxine or thyroid gland. So this is the exophthalmic goiter. Next one is the mellitus and diabetes insipidus. Two types of diabetes we have discussed already in our previous class, that is diabetes mellitus and diabetes insipidus. Okay, these two types of diabetes observed in human body. This is happens due to the less secretion of insulin. Okay, less secretion of insulin, and diabetes insipidus happens due to the less secretion of antidiuretic hormone, which is secreted from the hypothalamus and stored in the posterior pituitary. This is secreted from the posterior pituitary. So in mellitus actually less secretion of insulin. Actually the blood glucose level get increases and kidney does not able to strain all the glucose. So the presence of urine, a presence of glucose in urine. So this is the symptom or medical symptom of diabetes mellitus. Next one is the diabetes insipidus. What happened in less secretion of ADH? ADH, that is antidiuretic hormone, actually responsible for the absorption of water in the kidney tubule. So the less secretion of ADH produce more urine, and there have a frequent pressure of passing urine. This is known as diabetes insipidus. These are the common diseases due to less and hyper secretion of different hormones. The next one is the feedback mechanism, which is very much important for your exam. That is the hormone, how they secreted or regulated, that they are not always secret or not stopped at a certain time. So feedback mechanism mechanism. If we took an example of thyroxine. So the supreme commander is the hypothalamus. So first one is the hypothalamus. Okay, hypothalamus release the hormone that is TRH, thyrotropin releasing hormone, which stimulate or signal to the pituitary gland. Pituitary gland to produce the TSH. TSH, thyroid stimulating hormone, which further stimulate the thyroid gland to release thyroxine. Okay, and this thyroxine get released into the blood. It is released into the blood. When this is the process of positive feedback, all are influences other glands to release hormone. Okay, then now the condition is when the blood thyroxine level get high, these thyroxine level first signal to the thyroid gland to stop the release of thyroxine. Secondly, it will also signal to the pituitary gland to release or to stop the release of the TSH or thyroid stimulating hormone. These are the negative feedbacks. It also signal to the hypothalamus to stop the release of thyrotropin releasing hormone. If the thyrotropin releasing hormone is stopped producing, then it cannot signal to the pituitary gland, then pituitary cannot produce the thyroid stimulating hormone, so the thyroid gland will not stimulate to release the thyroxine. So this is the positive feedback. This is the positive feedback and this is the negative feedback mechanism in hormone. Okay, so this question is very much important for your exam. You may take the example of insulin also, where the insulin gets released from the pancreas, and the insulin level is, when the insulin level is high, it will stop producing from the pancreas and producing the glucagon. So these are the feedback mechanism in case of animal hormone. So that's all for the today's video. If you like to get more such informative video, you may subscribe our YouTube channel Edwins. Also follow, share and comment in our Facebook page. You may also visit our official website edwins.in, where you can purchase our premium version at a very low cost, where you can get the unlimited mock test and study materials. So please do visit right now. Thank you.
Edwins, learn, grow, succeed.